Okay, here we go, we're back. So just a little bit recap. We have our stand already assembled, ready to go. So I got our nut installed right here. And now we're down to the mounting point. This is the adapter plate for the Diablo. So we have a piece that's already installed right here. We just need to set the right height and alignment to the bolt. So with this, we're gonna need a 18 millimeter nut, socket wrench for this nut right here. All right. So we're gonna line this up, line this socket top and bottom up, make sure that nice and snug. You gotta push it against the body. And we're gonna tighten this guy down to where we want it to be. Alright. You want it tight so it doesn't move anymore. There's no particular torque rating, so I'm just kind of hand tightening this. And let's do it together again. Make sure it goes in smooth. Okay, so we're done here. Now, that's page 2 of this German instruction here. We already did the nut here, and on page 2, we just did adjustment here. Now, here's the tricky part. We need to attach this plate right here to this guy. Alright, so I'm going to cheat a little bit since I already kind of go through this, so I don't know which hole I want to use for this particular mount. This thing is going to go on this guy right here, this hole, this mount. This is for the Diablo. We're going to be right about here, so this is the hole to use. Something interesting to know, on one of these holes we found spot welding leftovers. I had to chip it out just to test the hole to see which one I need. So we were testing this one, but the foot peg got in the way, so couldn't use this hole. This is the best hole we could clear everybody, including the foot peg here. Alright, and this will also give me the maximum height lift. You want to lower this or lift higher. Okay, and to this part. So we have these guys we need to attach to these two plates. This is the basically alignment bolt we're going to attach later to. There's two sizes here, one short and one long. Okay, the short one's going to go here, the long one's going to go our adaptive plate here, you can see. And there's a couple nuts come in. You want to use the locking nut. Get away. Start. Alright, so now we need to attach these alignment nuts. Okay, one goes here, the longer piece. You attach here, and you want to use a self-locking nut here. Just attach this way. And this guy here is going to go in the front. It'll be easier. We have this move out of the way. And we'll have the locking nut back here. Alright. So on this mount, we're going to use our 13 millimeter socket. And here's the thing, you don't want to tighten this down too much. You just want to tighten that so it's kind of not moving anymore. But you want to be able to free spin. Which is probably written in the instruction here in German, but obviously I don't read German, so I didn't want to type everything on Google to give me my English translator. But anyway, you want this tight down, but free spin, so there's room for movement. A little bit tighter here. So you still want to be able to freely move. That's a little bit too tight. Let's loose just a bit. Alright, so get down there. Alright. And something interesting to note. Well, let's finish installing this one first. So this is the one on our adapter plate. Same thing, we're gonna tighten. You want to tighten down, but this thing still really spins. Okay. Now something interesting to note. We're going to use this hole to attach, but we realize something. When we attach to this hole, this thing gets in the way. When it comes back to it, it actually hits it. You see that? So what I end up doing is I'm going to grab a hammer here. I'm going to bend it a little bit out of place, out of position. So when we attach this, this should freely move here without hitting anything. Alright, so we got room to perform all adjustments. See that? So it's barely skipping through. I mean, I could hit a couple more times if I want to. Let's do that. Alright, so it's not touching anything anymore. See that? Now, here's the funny part. Our thing's bent a little bit for our test earlier, so be careful with that. This is not designed for weight bearing, only designed for your adjustment on the angle. That's it. Alright? So it's a little bit tricky for us to put this on right now. We're going to put our washer and nut at the end. I actually have to do the hard way now because I have to thread it through here. Oops. Basically, this is going to go here. We're going to attach to this. This will help adjust our angle here. So we're going to pause here. We'll come back. I'll have this thing installed. Alright, so we got our adapter installed, and here's one of our nut that has to go in the center between these two guys. Okay, goes about here. Doesn't matter right now. We're going to do our adjustment later. I mean, instruction, the picture show actually to install a washer, but I realize this washer is too fat. I mean, if you try to install this, look at this. It's going to hit our adapter here when we try to tighten anything down, so we're going to skip this guy. Alright, so kit also we have these big fat nuts. This is the weight bearing bolts right here, and here's our washer. Notice we installed a couple times already, so kind of know where everything goes. Basically, the keys on this install is just take your time making the final adjustment. But the shortcut way is if you're doing a Diablo, which I'm doing right now, I find this is the best hole to use right here on this mount right here. And I'm going to attach this guys to this first. I'm going to attach it here. I'm going to attach our nut here. Everything just hand tight right now, alright? And this is adjustment nut here. I'm going to put that about here. Alright, so you want this thing free flow kind of, okay? So this is the movement. Now we gotta do our final fit into the bike. I mean, on page 3 of this instruction, it's basically telling you to just make a final adjustment and this is the nut for the final adjustment. If you want to tilt it a certain way so your front and back is level, you could turn this nut to turn it. Okay, so we're kind of done here, so let's do it. I'm gonna have my bolt ready to go right here. I'm gonna just hand tight right here a little bit, tighten down a little bit later. I'll have to do a test. So, all right, I'm gonna come over, check our mount. So this, a little practice, but you should be careful in case you're not sure how to do this. You might want to put it against the wall or something, but I'm going to attach this to our mount here. Alright, once it's in, see now it's tightened in. This is where you want to adjust your angle and tilts. I'm going to lock down one end. This is going to pull it in and out of this mount right here. You can turn in or out. Alright. See, by turning this nut right here, I'm pulling the tilt this way more. Okay. That's basically how you align the bike. I'm just doing this hand tight right now. And I'm going to turn this locking nut down. This will set our position. Okay, we'll tie it down a little bit when we get down there. Alright, so this is kind of where we want right now. I'm going to pull it out. Be careful, you still got your foot back up. We should put that down. Alright, so the way it is, I want our mount as high as possible, right about here. And this is the right angle I want. Now if you want to tilt more, you just need to back this guy out and turn this in more, so the bike will actually a little bit more straight. It's going to take a little more time to fine tune it. But for now, we're going to use our wrench right here. It's a 15/16. I don't have any metrics, so this is the closest size I have for this nut right here. I'm just going to hand tight here. Now, so the installation here, once you torque this guy down to 160 Nm, okay, I have my torque wrench right here, which is close to 28 pounds, foot-pounds. Okay, so this is very important. You want to torque this guy down. This is the weight bearing piece. Alright. I got this stick down. Easy to press it down. Alright. So we got the torque down properly. Alright. Check our nut here. Tight. Okay. Tight down here. Tight down here. Alright. So, like I said, this is the scary part. You might want to practice a little bit. So, we're going to lift this guy up. I'll pour our mount in here. Line up to it. You have this lock fit. See, it locks in. Alright. Now, he's going to take some more adjustment, but come around here. There's our locking plate here. So, we're going to flip it up and do our first test lift. So this is the half lift. Notice my front wheel still on the ground, but I rear it off the ground. Okay. This is the next lift up. I'm gonna go all the way. Voila. Okay. So I got my front wheel off the ground. I got my rear off the ground. I can move it around. Now you notice the front come down a little bit. You can see it's all tilted a little bit more. We can fine tune this guy a little bit until the whole bike is straight, and that will be this bolt right here. Come up here, look, this bolt. So the whole thing has to tilt this way a little bit more, but the problem is if I tilt that way more, it's a little bit harder for me to put the lift on because I have to tilt this leg up every time I do that. So I mean, my wheel's off the ground, so I don't really need to make any more adjustment than I need. So I think this is good enough for me. But if you're a little bit anal about it, you can make that fine adjustment where you could tilt the plate just a little bit more this way, so the bike will be more straight. Okay? Alright, so to release this, it's very easy. I'm going to hold down, release that lock, and my bike should come down here. Now, what's kind of cool is, as long as I have this on there, it's not going to go anywhere. Okay? Until I come back. I'll pull my guy out a little bit. Here's the tricky part. I think I should boot this guy. Because I tend to get stuck here. So you have the right angle, it's just slip out. Alright? I need a little practice on that. That's basically it. Basically it has to come out a certain angle. Let's do it again, it's a little bit smoother. Alright. So I got my guy on it. Go in. I'm gonna do a lift. Okay, this is the half lift, this is the full lift, and then release, and back out, and you basically let the bike naturally tilt, and this will just pop out. Okay, and then I'll put back down. There you go. Alright, so I decided to do a little more fine adjustments here. So I'm gonna tilt it just a little bit more, so it'll give him a little more straight fit. I already tightened this guy and torque it down. 128 foot-pound. Let's try it one more time. So the bike has to be a certain angle actually for this mount to go in, and you want to go in all the way until the pin is all the way to the end. And here's the tricky part. See this gap here? Because I made it so to tilt a lot more, actually I have to lift the stand to get in all the way right about there. Okay, because our angle is a little bit off. So when we lift the bike, it'll be more straight. Okay, I mean more even front and back. Okay, so here's the lift. Put on the locking plate now. And with the half flip right here, the front and rear is off the ground already. It's still kind of uneven, but I think this is the best we could do. If I adjust it more, it's hard to put this stand in. And this is the fold. Okay. And I can lift the bike. I can do my turns. Forward. I can do my turn right here. It's kind of cool. Now I can get my biking out of the garage a lot easier. The only suck part is I got these screws on my garage. These wheels tend to get stuck in, so I'm kind of limited to one square here. But anyway, and once again, to get this thing out, that's tricky too. since our angle is a little bit off. Right here. Okay, so we're gonna angle the bike just a little bit. I have to rock it out now. It's not that smooth just because this whole stand is a little tinted on an angle. It's kind of like this when you try to get it in, but other than that, I think it's pretty great. Now this is the con stand, paddock stand, power lift. One more thing to keep in mind. I noticed these Allen bolts that's on the stand right here. While adjusting everything, I noticed they're kind of loose, so I went back in time and I need an 8mm here and a 6mm, the bolts behind this plate. This plate attaches to this mount, so it's very important you keep this thing nice and locked in. Alright, and that's it. So this is our con stand power lift. There you go. Oh, don't forget our lube here. Spray a little dry lube here in between the joints where it's going to move around. Just keep everything smooth. Alright. And there you go. Con stand power lift.